Hey there, it's Erica here, your natural and organic beauty guru. And in this video, I've got 3 simple mind shifts to make in order to get better results with your skin. Now, I'm inspired to do this video because I had a great conversation with a good friend of mine earlier this week who's been making a lot of changes for herself, for her family in terms of her lifestyle, eating habits, and things like that. And I felt like she had such a great mentality in terms of how she was approaching everything. And I didn't when I first started in this lifestyle. And so I wanted to share with you 3 thought patterns or ways of thinking that can really sabotage your results when you're talking about your skin and the results that you're getting, and the 3 different mental shifts that you can make. So, for the majority of us, I'd say 95% of people in the world, the way that your skin looks is a byproduct of the actions that you take. So, what habits are you consistently into? Are you in a habit of overstressing yourself, running yourself down, eating a little too much fast food, not taking care of your skin properly, or are you in a habit of eating really well and making that time for exercise? Like a lot of these different lifestyle patterns, things that you do, they have a direct effect on your skin. As much as we maybe don't want to believe that, we want to just be able to go out and eat sweets and everything, but it's true. What you do has a direct impact on your skin. Now, for that 5% of people, they may have some genetic issues that are causing certain things to take surface in their skin. But for the majority of people, the actions that you take determine the results that you get in your skin. And I think that's a good thing, because that means that you can actually have some control over the results that you get, which is awesome. So where a lot of people miss the picture, the big picture in all of this is that, it does take some lifestyle change. It does take some, different nutrition habits, different ways of thinking, exercise strategies, different things like that you have to integrate into your life over time. And I know firsthand that the whole thought of this can be a bit much. And so there's 3 sabotaging thoughts that you can have that can really diminish the results that you're getting in your skin, because you're not able to make that step forward in terms of integrating the lifestyle change. And the first one I kind of just alluded to just a second one is that it's too overwhelming. And I can completely relate to this, because even though I started my journey in 2009, which is 7 years ago, I still remember so clearly when I met my husband. He was the cute guy that I was trying to get to know at the time. And I knew he was like into all this health stuff, and that he was drinking wheatgrass shots and doing, green smoothies. All this stuff was like totally foreign to me at that time. But I knew that if I was going to have a chance with him, that I had to at least pretend to be interested in it. So, when I first started dabbling into it, it was a lot of information, and it was really overwhelming at the beginning. And so one of the things that I did that helped me after I kind of got over that initial overwhelm was to just take one thing at a time and integrate it. So when you're talking about overhauling your lifestyle and making huge changes in terms of your overall health, your well-being, this isn't something that happens overnight. And for some reason, a lot of us believe that, okay, I'm ready to make these changes, and it's supposed to be easy, and you're supposed to just be able to switch everything up all overnight and know what to make for dinner and know how to, get to the gym and exercise, or, do all these different things that were so foreign before. So in the same way that, your habits and the way that you live and what you eat is a byproduct of kind of your upbringing, what your parents instilled in you, what you've been doing in your adult life that's been kind of cemented in over the last several years and maybe even decades. In the same way that all that stuff is kind of cemented in, we can't expect to change it all up overnight. So that's why it's really important to kind of break this whole thing down into chunks and take that pressure off of yourself, to kind of get it all done overnight, and really just find one thing that you're going to integrate over time and do one thing at a time. So for me, I remember very distinctly one of the first things that I did was I switched from eating really processed bread to bread that was whole grain. Okay, so I don't even eat gluten or wheat products anymore, but I remember when I talked to my husband. He was my boyfriend at the time, And he was like, you really need to make some changes with your health. Like, you're dealing with adrenal fatigue, your hormones are off, and all this stuff. And he's like, one of the things that's going to really help you is to change your nutrition, your lifestyle. And I remember when he was like, you can't eat like that bread that you buy at the grocery store anymore. And I remember how it was like a dagger in my heart, because I'm a kid that grew up on bread. I grew up on rolls. I grew up on, all the Southern fixings, pies, pastry, like any of that stuff, like sweets, lots of it. So the thought of not having bread and bread products was like awful. And so he had recommended this bread called Ezekiel bread, which was this sprouted whole grain bread. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to like eat this or get used to it. But it was the one thing initially that I started in changing. And it actually made a huge difference for me. I stopped having those energy crashes that I would during the day. And my skin started to clear up too, just because gluten and wheat products can be inflammatory. But I said all that to say, I'd say probably the first good 2 years into my journey, I was still eating lots of bread. I wasn't gluten free. I was eating the whole grain kind, but that was my baby step. That was a step that I had to make. So now here I am, 7 years in. Lifestyle still looks a little bit different because I've evolved over time. But I said all that to say that sometimes you see people, whether it's on the internet or people in your life, and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, like, look at that person. Look how far along they are. I want to be where they are. I'm inspired by that. But you don't see the backstory and all the struggle that they had along the way. And so I've got more stories on that. But the main takeaway from this is, one, don't sabotage yourself by telling yourself that it's too overwhelming to make changes. Because if you take this action and do one thing at a time, then it's very, very doable, and you're able to kind of create a snowball effect as these little changes over time build upon each other. And you look up in a year and life is totally different for the better, and you're feeling really awesome and great about yourself.